Yo, what is going on, you guys? It's your boy King Sanders here. We are back with another day of sports betting. This is going to be for Tuesday, February 28th, the last day of February slate of NBA action. Super excited to dive into it. We do have some really fun matchups to dive into, and I found 3 plays that I do really like, and then of course we do have our consensus play as well. So hopefully we can go ahead and find some winners here for you guys today. But without any further ado, before we dive into it, I did just want to go ahead and say we are still currently on the road to 12,000 subscribers. So if you guys are new and if I've been helping you guys make some money, make sure that you guys do like, comment, subscribe, turn on that notification bell so you guys know whenever I post. Next, I did just want to go ahead and give a quick shout out here to all of our members here on the channel. Thank you guys so much for everything that you guys do, and thank you guys so much for giving such a small channel such a big chance, as I always say. It truly does mean the absolute world to me, so much more than you guys will ever know. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive into a quick recap as of yesterday. Man, we were this close. Bringing out the shades, bringing out the sunnies, having a perfect sweep on the day. We were so incredibly close. So let's talk about the wins that we ended up having. We did have our King Skill Shot play of the day. James Harden under 21.5 points versus Miami, but to also hit his over as well. And we ended up avoiding both of those things, and it ended up working out for us. Then we did also have Brandon Ingram over 24.5 points versus Orlando, minus 120. Once again, another one that definitely made us work for it. Brandon Ingram came out guns blazing, dropped 11 points in the first quarter, but then he kind of really slowed down, finishes right with 23 for a long period of time, and then with 2 minutes left in the game, ends up getting a bucket to go, putting him right at 25, so it ended up working out for us as well. Then we did end up having our added play. We had Knicks plus a half in the first quarter versus Boston at minus 110. Shout out my comment section for whoever ended up putting that down there. Great call, great read. Knicks apparently are one of the best cover teams in the first quarter against the spread. And now that I know that, I might be hammering that a little bit more often. So I really loved that play. It ended up working out for us as well. They were up by like double digits in the first quarter. So that one was pretty easy. You could have took the money line at plus value, but I wanted to just be safe. So that one ended up working out for us as well. But then we had our loss. We ended up having LaMelo over 42.5 PRAs versus Detroit at minus 120. I would play this play 100 times over. LaMelo Ball was destroying this line. Absolutely destroying this line. If you look at his first half stats, he was insane. And then early on in the third quarter, he ends up actually fracturing his foot. So not even like it was just a little bit injury, a little tweaked ankle. No, he fractured his foot. Definitely a tough scene for Mr. LaMelo Ball. So we ended up going 3-1 though, regardless. Still having a really good day. I do think LaMelo Ball would have easily cleared this line if he didn't end up getting injured. But obviously, that is a part of basketball. It's not an excuse, but I just that he was on pace for a great night. But regardless, ended up going 3-1 on our plays. That's profit at the end of the day. Definitely will take that. So let's go ahead and dive into today's plays. Let's find some more winners. Hopefully we can have another great day as of today. Maybe even go 3-0 and add in our consensus play as well. So for our first official play of the day, our King's Kill Shot play of the day, we were going with Spencer Dinwiddie under 18.5 points here versus Milwaukee at minus 115 odds. Now I know, Mr. Dinwiddie, thank you for your services. You ended up giving us some money on the over as of last game, but I think this is a game that we fade you here with a very tough matchup. Bucks allowed the 6th fewest points per game to opposing point guards. Obviously, that he will more than likely be guarded by Drew Holiday, one of the best defensive players in all of basketball. And not to mention, the Bucks do allow the 4th fewest points per game to opposing teams. This Milwaukee defense is legit. If you look at it from top to bottom, they really don't have a whole lot of defensive lapses. They have a very good defensive team, and I think it's going to make it very tough on a guy like Spencer Dinwiddie for sure. Also, the Bucks do also have the 3rd best defensive efficiency in all of basketball. As I mentioned, legit, and the numbers here are backing it up. And not to mention, Dinwiddie really hasn't seen a whole lot of success here versus the Milwaukee Bucks. If you take this exact line, he's only gone over twice in his entire career versus the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, I know obviously he did have different roles on different teams. He's a little bit more of a focal point here in Brooklyn. But I still just don't love the spot here. I do think this is going to be more of a Mikal Bridges game, especially with a guy like Grayson Allen on him. So I do think that Mikal Bridges has a good game. but I think the Dinwiddie does struggle here. So that is going to be our first official play of the day. Our Kings kill shot play of the day. Spencer Dinwiddie under 18.5 points here versus Milwaukee at minus 115 odds. Now for our second official play of the day, we're going to be taking DeJounte Murray over 19.5 points here versus Washington at minus 120 odds. Now, I know DeJounte Murray has hurt us good. I get it. If you don't want to take this one, I completely understand. But I think this is a perfect matchup here for him. He has gone over in 3 out of his last 4 games. He has started to really pick things up here as of recently. And he's averaging 17 shot attempts over his last 4 games, and not to mention those first 2 were really skewed. It was more like 14 and 12. So lately, as of last game, he ended up taking 20 shot attempts. Now, will he take 20 shot attempts again? More than likely not. But if he even gets to around that 15 to 17 shot attempts range, I do think that he ends up going over on this one. He has gone over in 3 straight versus the Washington Wizards. I know that he was in a different scenario with the San Antonio Spurs where he was a much more needed scorer, but I think this is still a good spot. I know that Trae Young has been playing pretty well here, but it feels like the Washington Wizards, if they're going to guard any position, it is going to be that point guard position. I'm feeling like DeJounte Murray is going to be let free on a guy like Bradley Beal. Not to mention the Wizards do allow the 6th most points per game to opposing shooting guards, so they haven't really been great to that position in general. So I do think DeJounte Murray shines in this one. So we're going to be riding with it here for our second official play of the day. DeJounte Murray over 19.5 points here versus Washington at minus 120 odds. Now for our third and final play of the day, you guys will probably think I'm crazy for this one, and I can live with it, but I really do like the look here. We're going to be taking Anthony Edwards over 28.5 points here versus the Clippers at minus 105 odds. Now, I know, the Clippers, one of the best defenses in all of basketball. King, why are you taking Anthony Edwards here? Well, he's kind of the only option here on this Minnesota Timberwolves team. He has gone over in 3 out of his last 4 games, but not to mention, on the flip side for the Clippers, Paul George is going to be on a minutes restriction. Now, last game was a weird one where it went into double overtime, and it was one of the highest scoring games in NBA history. But in this game, he is listed as being on a minutes restriction. And if he is on a minutes restriction, I think that this could be a very, very good play. He is dealing with a knee injury, which could hinder his defense, of course. It does hurt, or it does mess up his lateral quickness. So I do think this is a pretty good spot to be taking Anthony Edwards over. The Clippers do also allow the 2nd most points per game to opposing shooting guards in the last 7 games. So they have really shown that this injury, it has really taken a toll on Mr. Paul George. So I do think it's going to hinder his defense just a little bit. And Anthony Edwards takes a ton of shots. Obviously, just go look up his recent game logs. He takes like 20 shots a game. So if you're telling me that we're going to be getting a guy that shoots the ball right around 20 shots a game, and there's a decent number of threes mixed in there as well as the primary scorer, I do think that Anthony Edwards has a really big night here. I do think that 30 plus is well within reach. So I do like this one here for our third and final play of the day. Anthony Edwards over 28.5 points here versus the Clippers at minus 105 odds. Now for our consensus play of the day, we are going to be going to the Pacers and the Mavs game. Currently, the Mavericks are set at 7-point favorites, and it looks like the injury report, it does look like Maxi Kleber is listed as questionable, and Davis Bertans is listed as out. But from left to right, we do have Brady. Brady is going to be taking the Mavericks. We do have Mitch. Mitch is going to be taking the Mavericks as well. We do have Ryan. Ryan is going to be taking the Pacers. And we do have Seth. Seth is going to be taking the Mavericks. Now, personally, for me, I do think that the Mavericks end up getting this one done. I know that the Mavericks haven't necessarily been great recently, but this line, this spread is kind of telling me that they're going to be picking things back up, and I think that this is a great spot here versus a Pacers team that is still kind of unsure of where their future is going to lie, if they are trying to more so tank, if they're more so trying to just win games. They're kind of in a little bit of a weird spot. So I do think that the Mavericks end up showing out big here. They need this win. They have not necessarily been great since the Kyrie trade. So I think that they turn things around here. So I really do like this one here for our consensus play of the day. Mavericks -7 here versus the Pacers at -110 odds. So that is going to do it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you guys do like, comment, subscribe, turn on that notification bell so you guys know whenever I post. Like I said, we are still currently on the road to 12,000 subscribers. So if you guys are new, make sure that you guys are subbed. Let's go ahead and win some money today. This is King Center signing out. Peace.